Hey, Pickleballers. I'm Travis Rettenmaier, and this is Graham D'Amico. We're joined by Rowan Perschke, our third party. And Graham has finally realized that he has the worst mullet in history and is now finally growing it out. Congratulations, Graham.
How many mullets do you know of? Who's your favorite mullet?
You're my favorite and least favorite.
Appreciate that. Give me some time to grow it out. Tyson's had 6 months. Give me 6
Yeah,
more
his
months.
is beautiful. All right, Rowan, so tell us what we're talking about today.
All right, you guys. So since this is the first episode of Tennis Sucks, I just want to have both of you guys give a little background of yourselves and how you got started in pickleball.
Go ahead. Start it off.
Let's see. My life was tennis-oriented since I was a baby, and my life kind of blew up about a year ago. Divorce, disaster, so on and so forth. And just by chance, I was staying with a buddy of mine, Chris Marquez. He told me to come out and play pickleball, and I played here where we're sitting right now, which is the best place to play pickleball in the country, about a year ago, like I said, and I don't think I've left. Any day that I've had a chance, I come out here and play. Was fortunate enough to meet Graham, and he and I kind of started practicing, and it's become my life very quickly.
Similar story. No tennis background. Discovered pickleball during COVID, like most of the country, and just out here playing and saw Travis. He was okay, 4-0 when I saw him playing. And I thought, hey, give this guy, 2-3 years, he might be decent.
Very obvious Graham had no tennis background. I want to say that, by the way. If you watch him, very, very obvious.
But yeah, we're addicted to Crescent Lake Pickleball. We formed a bromance. We bought a professional Major League Pickleball team together.
Yep.
Florida Smash.
Took a lot of convincing, but it looks like one guy was right. That's me.
Yeah, it looks like one got us to the table to purchase the team, and then the other one who's risk-oriented.
Or just
pulled the
impulsive.
trigger first, impulsive,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know if risk-oriented is correct. Just foolishly, I'll make this decision without thinking about it.
Hey, best decision you probably made in your life in the end. So here we are today. All right, so, hey, by the way, on the court in front of us, we have Austin Chikadilov just playing rec play at Crescent Lake, right?
Yeah,
Another pro.
Another pro who doesn't wear shorts. He wears tights only.
And rarely wears a shirt.
Yep.
The most clothing he has is an arm sleeve.
Yeah.
That's a great tan line. I can't imagine that tan line.
Look at those fucking shorts. Also Selkirk player, might I say. Hey, shout out to Selkirk. Appreciate all the help. Great sponsor, great paddles, best paddles on the market. So I want to make sure we give our props to Selkirk for helping us out to get this thing going.
Perfect. Thank you, Trav. So in an effort to keep things from droning on, because the boys can talk forever if you let them, we're going to structure this a little bit like a pickleball game and put time constraints on various segments throughout the episode, and basically the time constraints will equate to points that you play to in a pickleball game, for instance. So with that in mind, let's jump into MLP Columbus from a couple weekends ago. We've got 6 minutes on the clock, and go ahead, you guys.
Undoubtedly the best event in pickleball history from a variety of perspectives: energy, quality of play, drama, The fans were outrageous, not just fans that were pickleball-oriented, but literally people from the public coming out. Steve Kuhn has put together, and the whole team, to be honest, has put together a product that's unmatched in the sport.
From an owner's perspective, yeah, I love the stream. Shout out to Boxcar Productions. Best stream, I think, of any pickleball event so far.
Absolutely.
No interruptions, clear. How about the replays, playing live on the big screen on center court was sick. Yeah, I mean, the energy, like you said, all the fans, the local Ohio fans that showed up and filled those stands starting Friday all the way through the weekend. Catering of food, incredible. Thank you, Steve and the team. All the volunteers and workers that are with Duper and MLP, amazing. Karen, shout out. Danny, all you guys just crushed it.
And I think MLP, the reason they're having so much success, is because they're just willing to kind of flow with things. They adjust quickly. The first MLP event, we had rally scoring, but there was no freeze, and it became very clear that maybe was unfair, favored the person or the team that was losing. They adjust. They're always constantly looking for ways to improve their product, and I think that's why you see names like LeBron, names like Brady getting involved, because you really have guys that are creative and guys that are going to do something that hasn't been done in the sport before.
Other thing of note was Kim Kleisters showed up, new owner with Tom Brady.
New one with Tom Brady.
Number 1 tennis player in the world at some point.
Number 1 in the world.
Beat up Serena to
The
get
Belgian
there?
beast, yep.
Is that true? That's
I mean,
crazy.
she is a specimen, let me tell you. Can do the splits both directions, fast as can be. And now there's rumor that another former number 1 player is also buying a team. So, the interest just grows and grows. And just to touch on MLP Columbus a little more, congrats to BLQK. They had the steal of the draft with Paris Todd.
Rafa plays out of his mind for MLP.
Plays out of his mind. Shout out to Rafa Hewitt.
And then Zane and Irina are just solid as always.
Yeah, they're solid as always, and they've got great team chemistry. Richie Toison, the owner, obviously does a good job of putting all his people together and making sure they kind of have a cohesive unit.
And maybe best-looking jerseys, too.
Oh, absolutely. They
Best apparel.
Yep.
They got a lot of it. They're ahead of the game.
No doubt.
They had an extra year, though, on us, so Florida Smash is coming.
Oh, we're going to get there.
But yeah, and Kim Kleisters, I don't know if people know this, but you're the only team owner / player. You actually played for our team, but
I did, yes.
Kim Kleisters might be the second one to do that, which
That's
would be...
what we're hoping. Yeah, I actually spoke to her sister a little bit online, and Kim's playing like 3 days a week, man. She's obsessed with it. So just watching her play, in my mind, no doubt if she put herself to it, probably 3 to 6 months, and she's as good as they come.
Wow, and he doesn't say that about many players. I hear them talking about former tennis pros, Sam Querrey, these other guys I don't know, and they're not right. But for some reason, he likes Kim Kleisters. He thinks she's a good fit in pickleball.
And Sam, I love you, buddy, but I just don't think you're going to be that top 5, top 10 guy in 3 months, like you say. I'm going to take the drastic over on that and just say never. So
what about that really tall, lanky guy that played out in Dallas, Isner?
Yeah, he has a better shot. I think he has softer hands than Sam. And Sam, I hope you prove me wrong, man. Like, I'm rooting for you, but I just think there's a skill set that applies, that translates from tennis to pickleball. Can't move a 150-mile-an-hour serve over to pickleball. It doesn't mean anything. And I think those are the primary skills that Sam used to win in tennis. I don't think they're applicable to pickleball, so I just don't see how his game is going to be incredible for the sport.
But yeah, nothing but great things to say about Columbus MLP, the best MLP / event, I think, so far in pickleball. And most people
the best event, period,
will agree.
Yes.
Players, fans, everyone will agree with that.
Amazing. You guys, we got 2 minutes left on the clock. You did very well. So let's now do a little stop and play, and we'll switch sides, and then we'll segue into APP Houston, Travis, that you just played this past weekend. We got 5 minutes on the clock. Just how did it go for you, and how does it compare to MLP?
Wow. I mean, what an awful experience.
Wow.
It just was incredible.
Don't hold back, please.
I never intend to. And one thing you can count on when you listen to Tennis Sucks is I'm going to tell it to you straight. And I've played tournaments all over the world, tennis from futures to challengers, which are in slums, shitholes. This was the worst tournament I've ever played. You couldn't play a point without a ball coming on your court. 4 straight courts in a row, 40-mile-an-hour winds. We had one point, I was playing Zane and Anna. We were at 2-1, and we probably had 8 points that were interrupted. APP, you gotta get it together a little bit, buddy. Like, if you want a professional sport, an actual professional sport, you need a couple things. You need food for players, not just a tent where there's hot bananas. You need food. You also need courts that are segmented, one apart from the other. You cannot have 4 courts in a row.
Didn't you tell me that somebody went for an ATP or hit an ATP through the legs, the ref?
Yes, we were playing in Zane in doubles. Big point, might I add. 9-8 down in the second game, and I crossed and hit a little hook angle, knowing that the ref was right in between the courts, because the courts have about 4 feet between them. And Zane ran over and hit the ball between the ref's legs for an ATP for a winner. His reaction was, I don't know how I got it through. I was like, I don't know how either. But the fact that you had to is mind-blowing. So, the setup was awful. They were so unorganized. At one point, we got there at 7:30 in the morning. We played 2 matches in 5 hours. Come on, guys. This is ridiculous. Like, you got to do a little bit better here. So we had some prominent people in pickleball, I can't name names, coming over saying that they can't be affiliated with the league because it would damage everything about their own brand, their own selves, because it was so badly run. It's at such a poor venue.
Do you think you're bitter that you didn't have the best performance?
Oh, absolutely, I'm bitter. And I'll tell you why I was bitter, because literally from the moment that I got there, all I wanted to do was leave.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, so again, professional sport coming from MLP, where I don't think I'd ever had more fun competing. Great venue, great vibe, fans. And the one thing I'll give one positive for Houston. They actually had a good turnout for fans, so I commend them on that regard.
Oh, yeah,
People
I saw those
love
stands.
pickleball.
It was loaded up.
People love it, and that's awesome. But from a player's perspective, so disappointing. Like I said, 40-mile-an-hour winds everywhere, 4 courts side by side, no food.
I know.
Bathrooms didn't have water in the morning. You can imagine what that looked like. It was for me personally, as a damn near 40-year-old guy who's been doing sports for a long time, the only thought I had was, I'm too old for this. This is an absolute disaster.
I didn't make it out there. I watched it live stream on YouTube. And I'll say the one thing, it looks good on the stream.
Yes.
You know, there were some problems with the stream, but overall looked good because the fans were big, the competition was good. But my complaint was you were playing JW and Zane Navratil.
Yes, Tardio and I.
You and Gabriel Tardio, which I think is probably going to be a pretty fucking good match.
Yep.
And it's not on the center court.
Yeah,
I'm seeing Austin Gridley.
And 3 people
guys.
that I didn't know. I don't think I'd ever heard of the next 3. And I actually asked JW when we were waiting. I was like, are we waiting for this court? Because we've been waiting for 30 minutes for no reason. And I was like, are we waiting for this court? I don't know. And sure enough, they put us on the back corner where we had 80 balls come into our court in the first, 6 minutes. And, not to complain too much because, hey, we're all grateful that we get to play pickleball and we get to play tournaments. But again, this is a sport that's kind of finding itself at the moment. And yeah, to put that on when you have maybe a quality match, which it turned out to be, I think we lost 12-10, 11-8, a lot of good points. You got to be smarter and broadcast that particular match as opposed to one that I don't think anyone really wants to see.
No question. If you're thinking about marketing and growing your brand,
correct.
Put the best matches on center court so that we can see them on the live stream.
No doubt about it.
That's a no-brainer.
Yep.
Great work again, you guys. We got a minute left on that one. Y'all are keeping it tight.
I'm okay with that minute. PPA is not much better. I got to be honest. Played the one in Cincinnati. Holy smokes. Couldn't even get food. I was kicked out of getting a sandwich. I won't name names again because, hey, that's for the sponsors. You can't have that. Are you out of your mind? I paid $500 to be here and I can't have half a Panera sandwich? Like, get a clue,
Tell them
man.
for the $500 entry fee. Tell them tell them what you got paid for getting to the bronze medal match.
Oh, I got to the bronze medal match. So I played for about 12 hours that day, won 8 matches, and I got $0.
I thought it was 68.
Oh, that's right. I think I got 59. If I did, I haven't seen it yet. It's probably not going to come because they're broke.
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen, buddy. Fuck your $68. Hey, so basically what I'm telling you is if you want to go watch an event or be a part of it, go to MLP. It's the only event worth going to. Fact.
And cheer for the Florida Smash.
And cheer for the Florida Smash. We're
Perfect.
fun.
10 seconds left. Perfect.
Rowan, can I get an update on what's going on behind us on the tennis courts since you have a better view than we do?
How's that looking over there?
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'm not hearing much, but let's take a look real quick.
I'm hearing crickets. Rowan, what's going on there?
Yeah, I think the crickets that you're hearing are plentiful over there for sure.
It's expected.
Not a ton
But hey,
going on.
we don't want those courts because hey, there's only 60 people on our 6 courts. But let's make sure that those 2 tennis courts stay open.
Yeah.
Very important for that one old dude who comes out and hits by himself on the wall.
It'd be a terrible
Once every
idea to
3
put
weeks.
6 more courts over there for us.
we don't need those.
No, not
Tennis
needed.
sucks.
Tennis sucks.
Fucking sucks.
So, kind of
Gotta
getting
hate
back
it.
to MLP, where you finished on the event that we all love. Let's talk a little bit about the 2023 format and what that's going to look like.
So really interesting because they are planning to compete with the PPA and APP with 6 individual tournaments. And the concern is that you lose, so you'll do a singles, a doubles, and a mixed. Day 1, day 2, day 3. You can play with anybody who plays MLP. And then on day 4, you have your standard team event. The concern from the players is that, one, you lose that feeling, that kind of juice that we're getting from the MLP events that we're playing now. And
It takes the spotlight off the team event.
correct.
So the energy is now being spread between singles, doubles, mixed, and then hopefully there's some of that energy left for Sunday MLP team event.
Right, and I think what separates MLP, and again, is that They have it right. The team event is so unique because pickleball is one of the few sports on the planet that you can have a 50-year-old, a 16-year-old, a boy, and a girl all on a team and play competitive matches. That's unheard of in any other sport. If you take that away, then you kind of make it more generic and make it more boring. And like, I understand tennis has tournaments and individual nature and all these things. I don't think you copy that. It's just my opinion. I think you stick with the team. I think you stick with that format. I think you get to a point where the Florida Smash has a home game against the ATX pickleballers and so forth. Once you get to that point, which will come, you're going to have fans rooting for not just people, but cities, teams. That's better than who cares who's the best singles player? I don't care. Do you care if LeBron is the best basketball player? I don't care. I don't care who the best is. I just root for the team.
Let me ask you this. That format's not locked in, is it?
No. They're rethinking it because there's been some pushback from the players because they already have 20 tournaments on the schedule between APP and PPA. And I think, again, every player, if you ask them honestly, they look forward to the MLP because it's so fun to join your teammates, to feel that juice, to feel that energy. You're not going to see any other tournament. I was watching the final just for fun today, and I literally see Kyle Yates on the side. He's jumping up and down like a child. Like, he's so juiced. I watched him this weekend at the APP. He looked miserable. In fact, he got disqualified in his first match because the ref was so bad. He kept arguing, "Shut up, Austin." He got so... He got so pissed at the ref because the ref made a call that was a foot out, called it in, and he
I saw
got
that.
DQ'd.
I saw that. Yeah.
He got DQ'd.
A part of that, though, for MLP, the excitement is the money. Let's be serious.
It's not.
350,000.
I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with it.
Well, then let's save some money and stop giving out all that prize money.
It adds to it.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
You can't take it away.
And it's even bigger next year, 400,000 per event with 6 events.
But I don't think when you're playing, at least when I'm playing, I'm not thinking about the money. I'm just thinking about how fun it is and the juice. Yeah, the money is great.
But when you're coming there and you're getting ready for the tournament and practicing for the tournament and you got the nerves before it starts, you're thinking a little bit about the money.
Maybe I'll give you 5-10%, but honestly, I think you just want to perform well. And honestly, I think if you made that match for $500, everyone would be just as juiced. Now, you can't do that because players need to practice, they need to make a living, and that's what the MLP is offering, which no other tour really is, except to a few select players.
Sure.
Yeah, you need quality of play.
I mean,
what people are going to get juice. The format creates juice.
Look at what BLQK has made in the last year off of just MLP.
Insane.
I was trying to do the numbers.
50 G, well, it's like 50 Gs in 6 days.
With matching. I think all their sponsors are matching. MLP's been an $80,000 win for them.
Yep.
Big.
Crushed it.
What's up, Paul? Yeah, so I want to say some positives about the new format. Some of the positives, if it happens, right? One is they're not going to let any two players play any of the mixed or men's events together more than one event. So, like, if you play with JW in the first event of the year, you can't play with him for the rest of the year, which is going to make unique matchups. Right? Which is going to... That's exciting. People want to see.
That's exciting because obviously on every tour you see basically the same matchups generally, particularly on the PPA. You see the same two teams playing against each other almost every week.
And that's happening at MLP right now too. Like, you're seeing basically the same matchups throughout the year for the most part, unless there's drafts or trades, right? I
think so, but there's a lot of drafts and trades, and that's what makes MLP beautiful is there's kind of a flow of players to some extent. You're going to still have your core group essentially, but there's going to be some changing and adjusting by teams.
Okay, so on that same point, I know you were talking about this earlier, and is getting partners. So I said to you, hey, who are your partners for next year, the 6 events? And you said, I don't know, I'm going to ask around. And this is just a week ago, right? And we're talking about 3 months from now for the first event and 12, 13, 14 months from now for the 6th event. So give us a little insight onto what happened when...
Yes, I was kind of shocked. Almost everybody had filled their quota for the 6 events. And what I've come to realize really quickly is pickleball is super cliquey, right? There's this kind of legacy of players that have made their way early on and they're loyal to one another, and God bless them for that. But it also leads to some lack of honesty. So I can't name names, but a certain player approached me about playing 10 events next year and decided due to some, unforeseen nonsense that he was going to go back on that. Now, I have no problem with it, but in the tennis world, that would just never happen. And again, tennis sucks, but at least people hold their word. There's kind of this incestuous nature, guys dating girls all the time, and a very cliquey orientation in pickle. So it's hard to break through in that. You kind of have to play with partners that maybe aren't at that level yet, and hopefully beat those legacy players to get their attention. Fortunately, J-Dub, I don't think he really cares. He's just so good. Everybody wants to play with him, and he's going to play with me at one of them. The other fellas, I think that they're definitely into their cliques.
But you got some mixed partners locked in for next year, right?
I did, again, but I don't think those are legacy players. I just think they're really good. Shout out to Jackie Kawamoto. Thank you for playing with me. I think Anna Bright might play one with me. She also seems cool as hell. Didn't like her much in the beginning, but really like Anna now. And
you got to get one with Georgia. I like her fire.
I do like Georgia very much. She is actually my favorite female player.
Thanks, Rowan. Yeah, I would love to see you and Georgia play JW and his partner.
Yeah, Georgia's
like, how
just
much
a yelling,
fun is that?
Screaming monster. I love her energy.
Got it. Yeah. So, I think I get it. I understand it, is they want to keep the circle tight because every new player that comes in is another person that's pushing them down the line to make less money, and this is a career.
No question.
This is how they make their living and feed their families. So I understand it.
I do too, and I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying it's the way it is. It's very clique oriented, especially if you're in Austin or these kind of small groups of Florida that have a bunch of players. Austin in particular, I don't blame him. If I had 6 guys to practice with that I was practicing all the time, I'm playing with those 6. The only thing I don't do is approach somebody and say, hey, do you want to play? And then pull out of that deal. It's just not something I personally would do.
Here's some advice from me I think might be a solution. I know this is easier said than done, is you got to play more events so people see that basically you're consistent, you're playing a lot, and that they can count on you to be at the event and be in top performance. You're getting more exposure to them. You're getting more chances to beat them. The more you beat them, the more they're going to want to play with you rather than against you. So, it's more events. It comes down to playing more events and playing well in those events.
From a guy that doesn't have a kid. And when you have a kid, shit changes real quick. And the reality is it's difficult to play that many events.
Hey, I've got a dog.
Logistically. You got a dog and now an alien Grogu cat. But I love that little alien.
All right, Rowan.
That was basically a minute over, so that's a point against each of you.
Okay. What's the penalty? What's the penalty for a minute over? Mostly Travis. Travis talked. If we count the minutes, way more than I did.
You're right.
Okay.
So
more to say.
We'll go back on the instant replay, and see exactly how long he talked for. But
thanks,
basically,
ref.
We'll go whichever one of you gets to 11 points first for talking over. We'll have, what did you say that game was called, Graham?
Butts up.
Yeah,
you didn't have that when you were young?
At the front.
Get against the wall and throw a racquetball at your friends' butts, peg them.
Booties.
How do you want to play it here with you guys?
We're going to smash pickleballs.
Are we going to go
it's from baseline to net. The guy's bent over the net, and he gets to take a pickleball straight to the ass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. I like that a lot. Well, let's finish off with, I would like for you guys to just talk a little bit about where we are right now, Crescent Lake. What just kind of what that's meant to both of you, pickleball wise, and just why we chose to do the podcast here.
Graham should start that because he's like the mayor. He's the secondary mayor.
Guys, look what's happening right now. It's I think 6 o'clock on a Monday night. Right?
Yep.
And there are at least 50 people here. The paddle rack is already full and will continue to get more full as the night goes on. We have a legit 6-0 plus pro playing right now against two, I don't know, there's a 4-5 on the court, at least a 4-0, another 4-5 on the court. 3 courts, 6 courts, all full with good players. And this is every morning, every night.
And it's every day of the week. Every afternoon. It's happening more and more. I drive by in the afternoon, and even in the afternoon, I'm like, Jesus, the courts are damn near full. And by the way, if we take a look at those tennis courts again that are always so full, there's pickleball players because we need courts
with pros on it. There's another pro, a low-level pro, Evan Pratt, shout out, and Brooke, great players, practicing on the tennis courts. And not to say they locked the gate between the pickleball courts and the tennis courts.
Yeah, because God forbid we walk through.
So now we got to walk around just to use that tennis net as a pickleball warm-up net. Yeah, it's crazy. I think, and I've been saying this, is everyone nowadays wants to build these facilities where they separate out the court so the balls don't mix in. And I've told you this, Travis, when I kind of first met you, is I think there's something to the balls, not in tournaments. I think the pros should not have balls coming on their courts.
Granted.
But in rec play, there's something to having the court next to you, the court 2 courts down, ball come on your court, because you're forced to interact.
No question about it.
You're forced to say, hey, keep your ball on your court, or thanks, help me out, ball.
Right.
It creates some kind of community.
And that's the unique thing about Crescent. Right now I can tell you 40 people's names here that I wouldn't have known probably unless that existed. Right?
Exactly. We wouldn't
Give
know.
me the ball, Dave. Give me the ball, John.
Or
Give me the
Scott. Scott, the guy who complains about every partner he ever
ball.
has.
Everyone.
But he's the worst partner to have.
The worst.
But yeah, I think, Rowan, in the end, it's become this great community for pickleball, and you're addicted to it. You know, you have to come here
Yep.
as much as possible to see your friends and play some mediocre to better than mediocre recreational pickleball.
And I get offers all the time to come play private games with better players, and I say no all the time because there's something about this place that has a mystique. It's unique, and yeah, the play is the play, and you could argue that hey, you should be playing with better players and this and that, but I smile more here. Graham comes to watch games here, doesn't even play. He'll come and watch league night because he's such a lunatic, and I feel that there's.
But this is happening around the country. Maybe not as great as our hometown, but I'm traveling. I'm playing while I travel. It's happening everywhere around the country right now, and we love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I heard a rumor that there's a new study out, a new survey about pickleball numbers, because the numbers you hear right now are 4.5 million. With ball sales, maybe it's something closer to 8 million. The numbers I heard from this new survey that's coming out is
independent study, by the way.
Independent
unbiased.
study, specifically for pickleball, that there are, in the last 4 months, something like
3 months, 11.7 million.
11.7 million, and in the last 12 months,
33.2.
33.2.
290 players per pickleball court.
33.2 million players have played, individual players, in the last year, right? And how many players per court? 290 players per.
Damn near 10% of the country.
So in tennis, they did the numbers. There's like 250,000 tennis courts in the country, and there's roughly 55 tennis players for every court.
Yes.
Pickleball is 290 players per court. It's outrageous.
It's truly outrageous.
It's taking over tennis.
And it's only going to continue, and it should, because again, the greatest sport that I've ever played, the only one where you could never do this in tennis. It's not possible to have rec games like this, open play. People would be so snobby. I don't want to play with this guy. I don't want to play with that guy. You could never have this kind of large variation in levels competing together and having fun. It just wouldn't happen. Not to mention age ranges, everything. It just brings people together. Best sport in the world. We all know
Not
this.
only that, we can take those 2 courts behind us that aren't being used for tennis, and we can make 6 pickleball courts out of it.
Undoubtedly.
6.
I mean,
Economically, it makes more sense too.
8. I mean, if you really pushed it.
If you want it to be like Houston APP, you could squeeze 8 on there.
You put 3 inches between each court, and you have the ref stand on her tippy toes, and somehow Zane just threads the needle right between. Good for you.
Well, that's great, you guys. Just to close, what can the listeners expect moving forward from both of you guys, other than just disgusting mullets?
Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of the insider tour knowledge, maybe who's behaving appropriately, who's not. Might not use names, but I'll certainly give a generic answer.
Ooh,
or
body bag to
general-
Austin. Body bag to
body
Austin.
bag
I
straight
like
to his
that. With no
massive
shirt.
chest.
That's leaving a mark.
His kind of the general consensus of how the tournaments are and how they're being run. And I come from tennis, a relatively high level, so I have a good idea as to what a professional sport should look like, how tournaments should look, and I think pickleball is heading that way. MLP is the only league that I've seen that actually hosts events and real tournaments where you feel like you're a part of a professional sport. I think it's going to only move more and more that direction. So from a player's perspective, I'll consistently give you that insight.
And we'll have the owner's perspective as well. Being an owner of the Florida Smash, we have maybe some inside info that hopefully we can share about why MLP, where it's going, how it's growing, what's happening behind the scenes with the new owners, with the Drew Brees, the LeBron James, the Kevin Durant's, the huge names that are coming next year. I mean, so that's something else you can expect. I think we're going to try to do some mic'd up play,
Yep.
right, to give some analysis mid-game.
And I think for the niche guys that are kind of crazies like me, we're always going to talk about the tech because, pickleball is literally in its infancy from a technology perspective. Obviously, there's regulations, but I think you're going to see some huge changes to paddle technology over the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk to the head of Yola this last weekend. We got to talk to the head of Wilson. Engage.
And
Josh
Wilson's
Elliott.
putting in a ton of R&D. It sounds like it sounds like they're about to make a splash in pickleball, which I'm excited to see because with those kind of resources getting into the sport, who knows where that goes.
Yeah, more fun.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like there's a lot to look forward to. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Ron.
We'll see all of you next week.
Next week.
And tennis sucks.
Tennis sucks. Selkirk, thank you again for all the help. Best paddles on the market. Can't wait to play with them. Let's go.